Hey, what's going on? Luke here, and we're here to do yet again another video talking about the brand new Rugby League game. Feels like that's all I do on this channel these days, but it is very exciting news. So obviously if there's something to talk about, I'm going to talk about it. And what I want to talk about is the fact that when it got announced that Big Ant were going to be making the new game, all everyone said was, oh, it's going to be a copy and paste of Rugby 25, and Rugby 25 sucked. And from what I could gather, I've never played Rugby 25, but the reviews seem to be mixed. They've been doing lots of patches, and with every patch it seems to be getting a lot better. But the general consensus at the start when it was first released was that this game is not good. And that was kind of what I remember Rugby League Live 4 being like, and I think even previous rugby games. But the fact that they're doing patches weekly, I think even a couple times a week, seem to be taking into account what the fans have been saying. We like this, we don't like this, and they've been fixing it. And apparently it's actually pretty decent these days. So I thought it'd be fun to go and check out some of the most recent sort of gameplay that I found on YouTube. I found a couple different videos. Shout out to all the Rugby Union content creators out there. There's a lot of yous, and very worldwide too. Saw people from different languages and stuff. So it just shows you the reach of a video game. Obviously Union is played worldwide, but shout out to you guys. But I just needed to see for myself what the game is going to look like and what we can kind of expect for the brand new game. So the first little clip we're going to be looking at is, I'm guessing it's their cinematic entrance. Now, we've had that in Rugby League Live 4, we've had it in Rugby League Live 3, and both are actually really nice, both vastly different, and also as you can see here, this is quite different as well. Now, this is like a Rugby Union sort of trophy sort of tournament, so obviously it's going to be different, probably going to be seeing NRL stuff, but I would not expect it to be too much different, apart from maybe the stadiums in the NRL versions, and I think maybe even the Super League. I'm not sure what stadiums, but for the NRL, you could have the cinematic ones in essentially just the Olympic Stadium in Sydney, Accor, or you could have it at Suncorp. So that's probably the only difference we'll see, but in terms of all the running out and all the behind the scenes stuff, I think it looks really, really nice. It looks crisp. Even just the actual graphics themselves, I think they look really, really nice. As for the player lineups, they don't go with the thing that we've seen in the previous Rugby League games where we've had a photo of the player. I feel like majority of the television broadcasts, they don't show the actual player's face or anything. They just purely show the player's name and what position they're playing. That's essentially all they need, and then maybe the play number as well. So I think this one looks nice. It looks clean. It looks crisp. I like it. Now, just on the cinematic entrances again, we're seeing like the national anthems, and I believe this is maybe like for like. So when people are talking about it being a copy and paste from Rugby 25 into NRL 25 or Rugby League 25, I think it's more likely Rugby League Live 4 pasted onto Rugby 25. You're going to see throughout this video, there's plenty of animations that are exactly the same, just literally taken from the Rugby League game, pushed straight into this Union game. And I believe if it's not the exact copy, it's very, very similar. It's pretty much based on it, and that's the national anthem. Now, in terms of the actual gameplay itself, what I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to try and match it up with what you're seeing on the screen, but you might just be able to see little bits of random gameplay here, but I've got to say, the graphics look really good. In terms of camera angles, I'm going to be cutting to a whole bunch of different camera angles. I think I talked about this in a previous video where in previous Rugby League games before Rugby League Live 4, I used to play on a side-on camera angle, and that seems to be what the Rugby Union guys seem to do. They don't really do the behind-the-back sort of one, and honestly, I think it looks a lot better. It looks more like a TV production. I think everything looks smoother. It kind of reminds me of EAFC. There's a couple of different camera angles where there's one that's just straight up side on, and there's another one that looks like a TV sort of one. And same way as the EAFC when they move to the next gen consoles, where it's not just one set location. It kind of turns a little bit and it swaps and changes a little bit, kind of goes where the player is, but I think it looks really nice. I think the passing sometimes looks really good. I think in some of the clips that you look behind the play, some of the ones that probably more the Rugby League gamers are familiar with is we use the behind the play sort of camera angle, and I feel like the passing doesn't look very crisp. It looks very fast in some of it. Like some of it looks like they're throwing, I was going to say bullet passes, but they look even quicker than a bullet pass. Just kind of looks super unrealistic, but then other times it looks so nice and so crisp and out in front, and like the perfect spiral pass. It looks really, really nice. So hopefully we get more of those sort of animations rather than them just absolutely launching the ball 30 meters across the field. Don't get me wrong, it does happen, but it's not that quick. Now, you may have noticed too that when there's some try scoring animations, they're the same try scoring animations that were in Rugby League Live 4. The weird put down where they're not doing a big slide into the in goal like you would see in real life, or at least it doesn't look as good as in real life. I feel like previous NRL games have had it pretty good, but Rugby League Live 4 had this weird one. They'll be running at full speed, and they'll just do this random dive where they kind of just they just fall in the one spot and like slam the ball down for no reason. I don't quite understand that animation, and I really thought that would be something they would improve on. If not, go and get your animations from the previous ones, bring them in because they were much better. And speaking of animations too, tackling, I haven't really focused on it too much in terms of the gameplay that you're seeing, but a lot of it it's not copy and paste, so I think that is a good thing. I haven't seen too many animations where they've been similar or be seen same sort of ones, but then I don't know if that's just purely because it's rugby union. They have to have different animations because they're going to go into the ruck rather than to play the ball. So for rugby union, they're not getting tackled and then just getting up and play the ball. They're looking to get the ball out straight away. So I guess in theory they have to kind of have a complete different animation. It just doesn't make sense for them to hold the ball when in union they're literally looking to put the ball behind them straight away on the ground. So to me, it does make sense that they're going to have different animations, but I do think the animations do look quite good, and I would personally be happy to have these animations as long as, you know, they're as smooth as what they look like in this. Obviously, I'm sure there's plenty of glitches in terms of the tackling, and I did see in some of the gameplay I saw, like, just players not registering a tackle, and they just ran straight through, but that has happened in pretty much every rugby league game I've played, so nothing to worry about for me because, hey, it just looks like it's going to happen regardless. Now, what I will focus on is the kicking. Now, I think the kicking does look quite decent. And in terms of rugby union, obviously kicking is a major thing. If you're a league fan like me, a big part of me not watching rugby union is because I feel like they just kick too often. So I feel like kicking, they've got to get right in these games. And I've got to say, it does look quite good. Goal kicking, I'm going to look at it right now. You can see the animation is quite similar to Rugby League Live 4. It's, if not the same, just maybe with a slight tweak in the actual camera angle, but the animation after they've kicked the goal is literally the exact same as Rugby League Live 4. A game came out in 2017. They're using the exact same motions, and that's the one thing I've noticed. A lot of the cut scenes are pretty much the exact same from Rugby League Live 4, maybe even from previous games as well, I don't know, but definitely Rugby League Live 4. Let me know in the comment section below, is that something that actually bothers you? Because personally, the cut scenes, yeah, it is cool when you first load up the game and you see it, but after you played a little bit, I really could care less about cutscenes. It's the actual gameplay that I really care about. But overall, the kicking, I think the kicking is good. I think goal kicking looks pretty decent. It doesn't look weird, as I think that's probably the best way to put it. Because some of the previous games, you look at the goal kicking, and as long as it doesn't look weird, I think it's okay. Now, in terms of just kicks and play, just in general play, I also think it looks really good. It looks like it doesn't seem to take as long as what it does on Rugby League Live 4, although it could be the computer kicking, I'm not exactly sure, but it looked like a quick thing to do rather than, you know, getting charged down and getting tackled every single time. So I think that should be quite effective. And it looked like there was some that go a little bit higher, some that go further. So maybe we have a little bit more control over it. I don't know. But in terms of the kicking, there was nothing that really stood out as being bad. So I'm pretty happy with that. But something I do want to highlight, and I would love it confirmed in the comment section below, but when there's some broken play, and in some of these clips, I guess they're playing on lower difficulties, or maybe there's just a lot more space, but when there is a set play going on, or there is a bit of broken play, it actually looks really, really nice. Like, it looks nice, it looks smooth, it looks fluid. I feel like that's something I keep saying, which is a good thing in my opinion. If I'm saying that a lot just looking at the gameplay, then hopefully that translates well. But we've seen in previous Rugby League games that when you've got a set play going on, it just doesn't look right. Like it, or they don't actually run a play at all. But it seems like if there's an overlap, they run the overlap. You can get the ball out to the winger and you have space. In Rugby League Live 4, regardless of the play, you end up with the winger just parked directly on the wing. They never come infield, they never come outfield. That looks like something that is different in the rugby union games. And again, I don't know if that's because the whole ruck thing and all the players are, you know, spread in a lot more because they all get into that little scrum looking thing. But I have noticed that there has been a lot of space. And when they get into space, it looks nice. It looks like you got a lot of control over the player. I could be talking out of my you-know-what here, but that's just what it looks like. It looks like you got a lot of control, a lot of freedom with the player. And that's something I don't necessarily think we had in Rugby League Live 4. I feel like your turning and just the actual control of the player, it wasn't particularly great. And I feel like you go back through every Rugby League game, and maybe Rugby League Live 3, maybe 2, I don't know. I feel like the Rugby League games really struggle with having control of your player. Also, I want to point out a clip. You're seeing it on the screen right now, but there is a line break, and the player was involved in the play, then runs around and backs up in support. So it shows that the AI is somewhat smarter, not somewhat smarter, definitely smarter than they were in previous games, because we've seen in Rugby League Live 4, it's near impossible to draw and pass. Also worth noting is the fact that the fast players seem to actually be fast and the forwards seem to be slow. Like, it makes sense. They're making line breaks and they're able to, execute and finish the line break, because the players are there and they're not getting run down by props and guys who should not be running them down. So I think that is definitely something worth noting. But yeah, overall in terms of the gameplay, I think it looks pretty decent. If this is what we're going to be getting in terms of a new rugby league game, I wouldn't be too disappointed. I feel like there's a few things they need to work on, and obviously they are, because they're making continued patches, and hopefully by the time the rugby league game comes out, they can kind of use the rugby union game as like a little bit of fine tuning, fix things that work, fix things that don't work, and then we can kind of get a more polished version in the rugby league game, because we got a little bit more time to work with. But yeah, as for people saying it's going to be a copy and paste from the rugby game to the rugby league game, yeah, you're not wrong with some things. It definitely is some things copy and pasted, but a lot of the same things that were copy and pasted were things that they actually took from the rugby league game to start off with. So it's just a league game, going to union, going back to the league game. Now, I don't know if that's a good thing using animations from 2017, but hey, it's there. I guess it speeds up the process. Regardless, they're going to release this game and I'm probably going to play the shit out of it, even if it does suck. But that's just my analysis of Rugby 25 and comparing it to what we might see in the new Rugby League game. So guys, let me know in the comment section below. Are you excited for it? Does the gameplay look inspiring? Does it look good? I think it does, but that's just me. Maybe I'm trying to be optimistic. I don't know, but yeah, let me know in the comment section below. Anyway, it's going to finish things here. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to be your ultimate news source for the new Rugby League game. So stay tuned for more on the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. See yous. Well, that's the end of this video. If you happen to enjoy it, make sure you leave a like, subscribe. You know the drill at this point. Everybody YouTuber says it. Just go ahead and do it. It'd really help me out. Also, why not go ahead and check out some of these other videos that are on the screen right now.